Hello everybody and welcome back. It's Asa the Greek, and today I think it's about time I make my very own Death Order prediction for Killcure Beautiful Vice. I'm curious to see what you guys think about all this. I personally haven't seen any other predictions as of right now, so not sure what the general theories are. But enough about that. Let's begin with the Death Order. First, allow me to let you know how I come up with these orders. I start by going over each character and trying to get their vibes. Could they kill? Could they survive, or fall at the hand of another? After that, I try to think how well their personalities will fit with the general story. It makes sense that characters that are too extra or unique will probably not last very long, if they conflict with the general mood of the later chapters. With that being said, let's start with chapter 1. Now, I think Maru makes the most sense if she dies here, right? It's not really a danganronpa trope, but more like a writing trope, I guess. But it makes sense that at the start, someone you see a lot will die, at least in cases like this. In Danganronpa 1, Sayaka is with Makoto for majority of the prologue in chapter 1, before her death. In Danganronpa 2, the most screen time goes to Nagito, but that's just to throw us off. Togami didn't really have the most screen time, but because we assumed it's Byakuya, it was as if he had the entire screen time from the previous game. And while Rentaro doesn't have much time, Kaede is the protagonist for the prologue in chapter 1, so looking at the cast again, Maru definitely has the most screen time in the prologue, and I'd assume that it will stay the same in chapter 1 as well. But who kills Maru, you may ask? Well, if you haven't watched my trailer theory, this is a bit of a spoiler, but Shiori feels like the perfect candidate for this. Biz could even order her to kill Maru. It's very possible she could have discovered something she shouldn't have, and Biz put on a hit. I'm not going to expand on too much on why I think Shiori is the killer for this chapter. I just suggest you check the theory video, it's like 3 minutes long. Chapter 2, and it pains me to say this, but I think Onichi dies here. Onichi is a character that brings his own charm to the table, yet I feel like a lot of the characters are charming in their own way, that some of the more comedic characters are bound to die quicker. For that reason, I believe Shoko will be the killer of the chapter as well. Both are characters with a strong presence, so I'm sure that they leave a lasting impact on the players, even if they were to die first. I think from the guys, these two seem like the most likely options. Chapter 3 was kind of rough for me. A lot of characters seemed like prime candidates for the Chapter 3 syndrome, and yes, I'm assuming here that there will be a double murder in Chapter 3. It's very possible they'll switch that up, but since we don't have any confirmation of this, like with Eater's Garden, I'll just assume 2 people get murdered this time around. I think the hardest part was to figure out who would kill 2 people to begin with. Originally, FunFan seemed like a good candidate for that, but instead I chose to have her as a victim. Then I wanted to pick one of the useless comic relief heaps. If you don't know, there's usually at least one character in the Count DR that doesn't really help much with the story. They're just there to make jokes and usually survive until the end. That's the case with Yasuhiro in DR1, Akane and Kazuichi in DR2, and Himiko in V3. For this, I chose Manzo. I was between him and Momoe, but in the end, I decided that it'd make more sense if he died with FanFan, to me at least. Especially because I want at least one summer team member to survive alongside Hiroaki, since I have Busho as the killer. I don't know why, but having the most calm and zen member of the cast go crazy and kill 2 people sounds very fun to me. Like, when I was trying to think of who would crash out the hardest, Busho was the first name that came to mind. We're now in chapter 4, not so much characters left. Actually, no, there's still 10 of them. Anyway, this is the chapter I see Chikuma go down. Personally, Chikuma never struck me as a character that would live, you know? She's one of the more funny characters and her design alone is leaning on more jokes than serious, with the squiggly glasses and goofy sprites. I did have her as the killer for this chapter originally, but then I changed my mind. And that is solely because I'm sure the execution of the ultimate Broadway dancer would be sick. Toya brings black humor to the cast, so I definitely see her sticking around up to this point. And yes, while her being deaf would make her an easy victim, the fact she says that herself makes me think she's going to be the one doing the killing instead. And now, chapter 5. Yes sir! I haven't discussed this yet, I realize, but my theory is that Hide is going to be the side protagonist, with Naomi as the antagonist. And I think this is where our antagonist kills. I don't know, I think Naomi could be a survivor, but with the cast I have, it makes the most sense for me if she ends up killing someone right at the end. Yes, you'll see why. As for the victim, I'm sad to say, cause we still get to see a buff guy surviving, but I think Yato will survive chapter 4, only to die here. Sadly, it's too soon for me to make speculations as to why the characters will kill, and I haven't even taken into account the killcure system of accomplices. As for chapter 6, This is kind of awkward, but I don't think anyone will die here. Maybe the maskman will, or whoever Biz is working for, but I don't think it's someone of the cast. I'd say that I can see Coco and Biz dying, but the start and end of the prologue make it sound like this is an event that happened in the past, meaning that Biz did survive the killing game. What's worse, this could be the case of a singular survivor, but I don't want to make the same theory twice in a row. Which means that the remaining characters are my survivors. Hiraki, Hide, Iki, Uta, Kunitaro, and Momoi. I think these 6 have what it takes to have serious and funny moments without ruining the mood that last few chapters would have. I did consider Iki to be a killer at some point because, again, his execution would be really cool, but I couldn't decide on which chapter he'd kill, so I ended up placing him with the survivors. So, these are my death order predictions. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do let me know in the comments below, but until the next video, take care and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.